The Namib Desert is one of the oldest and harshest deserts on Earth, a place where survival is a daily battle. Stretching over 2,000 kilometers along the Atlantic coast of southern Africa, it's all land of endless sand dunes, scorched plains, and bone-dry air. Rain is a rarity, shade even rarer. Daytime temperatures can scorch the earth, while nights bring a chilling cold. Life here, where Texas has adapted in remarkable ways, from beetles that harvest fog off their backs to plants that have waited centuries for water. It was into this unforgiving wilderness that two men vanished during the chaos of World War II. With danger behind them and nothing but desert ahead, they made a desperate choice: to disappear into the sands of Namibia, hoping the vastness of nature would hide them from the world. This is not just a story of war or escape, it's a story of survival against one of the most brutal landscapes on the planet. Welcome to Risky Reality, where risks become reality. Before I start the video, don't forget to like this video and to subscribe to the channel. For now, let's continue the video. In the heart of the Namib Desert, among red dunes and gravel plains, two German geologists began a journey that would test the limits of endurance and friendship. Henno and Hermann Korn fled into the wilderness to escape internment during World War II. Their story, etched into Namibia's sands, is one of science, survival, and profound isolation. Henno was born in 1910 in Freiburg, a university town on the edge of the Black Forest. A precocious student, he earned his PhD in geoscience from the University of Bonn by 25, under the guidance of the famed geologist Hans Kloos. There he befriended Hermann Korn, 3 years older, who had joined the Saalfeld Geological Society at 10. Hermann's brilliance was often shadowed by bouts of depression and alcoholism, yet his mind remained sharp. Disturbed by rising nationalism and persecution in 1930s Germany, the two men sought a way out. Inspired by Kloos's earlier work in Southwest Africa, they left Germany in August 1935 aboard the steamer Usambara, bound for Walvis Bay. From there, they traveled to Swakopmund and eventually settled in Windhoek. Their scientific work took them into the Naukluft Mountains, where they mapped geology and studied complex rock formations. Their findings challenged popular desertification theories, drawing criticism from Germany. As tensions rose, returning home became unsafe. When funding ran out, they found work identifying water sources for Namibia's growing farming population. Despite hardships, the desert offered refuge for Hermann. His mental health improved under the open skies, among rocky outcrops and dry riverbeds. By September 1938, war loomed. The two men made a pact: if internment threatened, they would vanish into the desert. That moment came on September 1, 1939. Germany invaded Poland. Britain and France declared war. South Africa soon followed. Though initially spared arrest, the pressure mounted. Internments began. By early 1940, the South African government ramped up efforts. Friends disappeared into camps. Hermann grew restless. Henno hesitated. But on May 25, 1940, after 4 days of preparation, they loaded their pickup truck, a Chevrolet Coupe, in their loyal dog Otto, and disappeared into the Namib. They traveled only at night, avoiding roads and cutting deep into the desert. Crossing dry rivers and rocky plateaus, they reached the remote Kizeb River canyons. There, beneath towering cliffs and sterile skies, they established their first shelter, Karp Cliff. They brought only essentials: flour, sugar, tobacco, a pistol, and a shotgun. To conserve ammo, they melted pellets into larger balls for hunting gemsbok and zebra. They built fires, smoked meat into biltong, and rationed water from stagnant pools. A wind-powered generator charged their radio, letting them follow the war and listen to symphonies from Radio Cape Town. They continued geological mapping, blending science with survival. In quieter moments, Hermann painted watercolors and played violin. In September 1940, after nearly 4 months, they briefly visited the Siedentop family at Niedersachsen farm. It was a moment of comfort, but also a reminder of their distance from normal life. Their exile was more than physical. As summer turned to dry season, water at Karp Cliff dwindled. By early 1941, wildlife had vanished. Supplies were low. The two men made a hard choice: to move again, this time to a second refuge near the Noskomab River. The Namib, in all its beauty and cruelty, had become their sanctuary, but their journey was far from over. In early 1941, with water dwindling and their first refuge no longer viable, Henno Martin and Hermann Korn moved deeper into the Namib Desert. They found a new hiding place above the Namib River, more remote and even harsher. This new cave was shaded and near a spring-fed stream, offering some relief. But the isolation grew. Days turned to months as the two adapted to a life shaped by survival. They hunted, rationed supplies, and marked time by scratching dates into the stone. They continued their geological work, recording mineral layers and erosion patterns, small anchors of reason in a world at war. Yet the silence began to weigh heavily, especially on Hermann. His health faltered, both mentally and physically. When he injured his leg in a fall, Henno had to treat it with makeshift supplies, fearing for his friend's life. Despite these hardships, they pressed on. Their dog, Otto, remained a loyal companion, alerting them to dangers and offering comfort. News of the war came faintly through a wind-powered radio. London bombed, Pearl Harbor attacked, the war expanding. But it all felt distant in the quiet of the desert. Eventually, word reached them that they were no longer actively being pursued. Still, they waited several months, wary of betrayal. In early 1943, after over 2 years in hiding, they returned to Windhoek. Gaunt and weathered, they surrendered. To their surprise, they were met with leniency. Their story had grown into legend. Henno resumed geological work and later became head of the Geological Survey of Namibia. Hermann retreated into private life. Henno would write The Sheltering Desert, reflecting on what the Namib had taught them about survival, friendship, and the raw simplicity of life. Their story is more than a tale of hiding. It's a reminder of how nature can strip life down to its core and offer unexpected clarity in return. As the sun sets over the vast silence of the Namib, the story of Henno Martin and Hermann Korn lingers, etched into the stones they studied and the desert that sheltered them. Their retreat into the wild was not just an escape from war, it was a journey into the raw essence of survival, friendship, and the search for meaning in a world unraveling. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more true stories from a story's hidden corners. And if you want to read Henno's own account, look for The Sheltering Desert, a haunting memoir of isolation and endurance. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay curious and stay safe.